the next page, page 41, transaction of 21 February 2023.
Yes.
There is a 19,800.
Yes.
Which is similar to the amount that you deposited on the 2nd of February.
Okay.
Yes. So again, I'm putting it to you that this is actually strange for me that you're saying you are making this money from business, but it's the same amount of money over and over, each and every second day or third day. Were you getting the same amount of money every day from your business?
No. If you look at the date that you first say 2nd of February, and then you go again, you see those other deposits you were talking about the 17th of February. And then the others you're talking about, if I'm correct, 24th, if I've just skipped down, and 27th again. So it's not every single day, but as I explained, the ATM just takes 20,000 at a time. So sometimes it takes the full 20,000 and sometimes it takes less. But it's up to me if I get a 5,000 here, 10,000 there, to keep it, and when I've got 20,000, I'll put it in, because why I'm putting it in as well is that is some kind of record keeping for myself, to just know how much did I make for that month out of my trade. But that's not criminal as far as I'm concerned, so yeah. So it's not strange.
And the deposit, let me just take you to the exact page. Before I go there, let me ask you, what business were you doing with Connie Barrow van Wyk, who is also an accused in this case?
I didn't do business with him. I was doing business in my personal capacity. You see, there was business with Quality Meat Supplies, and then, as I mentioned to the court when I met with him, he was also a farmer. So sometimes there was feed that we get from Zambia, which I asked him would he share, because I couldn't afford a whole truck. Then we get feed for his pigs in the north and for my pigs. So then when the truckers come to Bandung, we will offload and we will share the mix. Other time there was other products, like they bought some equipment from me. Then I know there were some Lucerne bales. If I can just out of the cup without any even looking at the bank statements to get, but I know there's narratives that was put in there. So this is how we traded, because at end of 2022 I basically stopped supplying him with livestock, because my stock was depleting and I was no longer overgrazing. So yeah, then there was other transactions, but that was from a person to person, because farmer to farmer, and not through a business.
When did you resign from your position at NAMCOR?
In 2023 end. 15th of October to be correct was my notice was given in on the 12th of October, but it was effective from 15th of October. My last working day was 15th of November 2023.
Okay. Now, Your Worship, I do not want to go through this statement, but I just want to make the following, to tell the accused the following, that at least from 15 July 2022 up to 26 May 2023, and those are the transactions that I've checked, there were huge deposits made into your personal bank account, and the investigating officer will come and testify that, in fact, you owe a tax in the amount of 20 million. What is your comment?
I agree. I do not agree I owe the amount of 20 million,
yes.
But there is a notice from NAMCOR. First, the same assessment says 4.2. The second assessment says 20 million. Or 20 what? It's still under objection, which the outcome will be hopefully soon, or I'm not too sure when. But at the end of the day, that is a matter that I will have to deal with, and then whether there's some kind of an arrangement or whatever or if I can still go further, But at the end of the day, I've submitted things to NAMRA, my assessments, and my accountant was here previous because I was been looking for him, and I think he sent the full an objection. If I don't know if we need to share it with the court, to my lawyer, the full objection notice with the documents, or there was attachments to that. So I don't dispute that there's an issue on tax with NAMRA. That's never my intention. I testified it already. And these amounts that is paid into my account, NAMRA is aware of that amount. It's not fraudulent, and it's not from bribes or anything else. And it's visible. So it was not hidden for someone to come and say that I tried to hide it. So that's my answer.
Okay. In fact, the investigating officer will come and testify that on, Your Worship, I'm referring to page 235 in the second bundle to 255, 355, my apologies. 355. There is a transaction dated 21 July 2022.
Dated?
21 July. It's an amount of 1,040,000. That amount, as it's self-explaining there, is from Eco Trading CC. You agree?
Yes, sir.
An entity of Victor Simaneka Malima?
Yes.
Okay, what was that for?
It was for transportation, and there was also containers involved.
Okay, and it's the same invoice that you have said is the one on 381?
Yes.
Okay, at least for this one you can produce an invoice which the investigating officer will come and testify that you generated this. This is actually as good as nothing. It's something that you just created to cover up what is on this page, 355.
I totally disagree, and the investigating officer is welcome to testify and prove that in court.
In fact, our position with regard to this payment is that this is a bribe or a kickback, if I can put it as that was advanced to you by Victor Malima after you had approved the asset purchase agreement between Anacon and NAMCOR.
I totally disagree, and something that I didn't mention before is that the 25 million payback that we pushed up to 35. Why would, if the managing director already agreed that Anacon should pay 25 million back on that day, and myself and the rest of the team convinced him that we rather let them pay 35 million. I could have taken that off me if this was proceeds, or I would want to solicit a bribe.
What logistics services did you provide?
I did a lot
Eco
of
Trading that amounted to this.
just the trucking. That's one trucking, a transport of containers from Walvis Bay. The statement is there, Your Worship, of the extract of a statement of the bank statement of Parkwood Petroleum and Logistics, which can is in evidence that shows there's a lot of other transport business. This was a transport company of mine.
So that was a transport of containers from Walvis Bay to where?
To DRC, Your Worship.
For this amount of 1,040,000.
Yeah, it's 8 trips.
8 trips.
Your Worship, there is just one aspect that I almost forgot to mention. Mr. Willemse, just go back to the bank statement, the one that has 65 pages. And of interest, I want to take you to page 21 of that bank statement.
Which one? Which was the date?
The dates is the 1st of August.
Of 2022. 1st of August 2022.
Yes. Is it correct that it shows that you bought a quad bike of 45,000?
I had many quad bikes, so it might be
On which
correct.
page are you looking at?
Page 21, Your Worship.
Page?
21. Oh, the 1st of August,
Which year?
2022.
Quad bike and generator, yes. Oh, that mine shows 2nd of August, and then let me just see. 1st of August, you say? Yes, I see it for 45,000.
And then
You should put it on page 308, sorry.
on that day again, you bought a generator for 25,000.
Yes,
And there was an amount made towards a Mahindra Baki for
Yes.
30,000.
yes.
And it looks like you bought another quad bike on the 3rd of August 2022 in the amount of 15,000.
Yes,
And the investigating officer will come and testify that these assets or these properties that you bought were as a result of you having received the 960,000 on the 20th of July 2022, which was a bribe, as we are saying.
I totally disagree.
In fact, on the 18th of August, which is on page 22 of that bank statement, you sent money to your daughter in the amount of 200,000. You see that?
Yes, I see it.
Which we are also saying is part of the bribe that you had received on the 20th of July as well as the 15th of July 2022.
That's incorrect, Your Worship. And this is not my daughter, it's my ex-wife. But let me clarify that. I, at a stage, as part of my settlement agreement with my ex-wife, I gave a townhouse in Cape Town. And I assume that is the townhouse that the estate yesterday, which I was confused because it was sold long time ago by her, which was worth 1.5. And then when she actually couldn't stay in South Africa and had to come back to Namibia, she sold the townhouse. And at some stage, I borrowed some money from her, which I repaid.
All right. So again,
So that's the truth.
still on the same page, you made two payments towards a Land Cruiser Baki on the 20th of August in the amount of 300,000. In fact, those payments were made 150, which is 300,000. You see that?
Yes.
Yes, and the investigating officer is also coming to testify that that money that you paid towards the Land Cruiser Baki was also from the money that you received as kickbacks for having facilitated the asset purchase agreement.
That's not true. I made that money out of legitimate transactions, so it cannot be regarded as bribes. And how I spent the money was also legitimate.
And still on the same page, there is a payment of 110,000 that you made towards an Isuzu truck.
Yes.
And we are saying again, it's money that you got as a result of a bribe. You paid that Isuzu truck.
And I say again, that's not true.
In fact, we are also saying on, I just want to get to the same page, to the exact page. On the 7th of December, I'm getting to the page. You purchased a flat in South Africa for which
250.
yes.
Yes.
And what is the 200,000 for that appears in the credit? What that says flat purchase? Or on that same page, page 34. My apologies.
Yeah, it's for the payment, probably for the deposit or something. I'm not 200% sure for the flat. I think so. Or that came in from a purchase. I'm not too sure, but it's money that was coming in. So it seems that it was money coming in from South Africa. If you just underneath the flat purchase, it will say SASA. So it's probably money that I transferred back from South Africa.
And we are also saying the investigating officer will come and testify that as a result of you having been a member of the credit committee who allowed, together with you, Jennifer Mukwaya and Olivia Doneski, you allowed Irongo Petroleum to get fuel above their credit limit. You were doing this in order to receive bribes, and these are the bribes that you have shown on the bank statements that you were receiving from them, and they were not coming from business as you are claiming.
That is not true, Your Worship, and it's very ironic that Irongo Petroleum, on their engagement with NAMCOR, didn't claim paying any bribes, and they were willing to repay the full amount outstanding, 10 million per month each for a period of 24 months, which would have cleared this debt already. But that was rejected. So if someone wants to pay bribes, plus he still wants to pay the full amount owed, doesn't make sense. But my answer is it's not true.
And in fact, with regard to count 11, we are saying the amount that you got in Parkwood Petroleum and Logistics, which was the company that you were operating, the amount that is shown on page 355 in a bank statement of Parkwood Petroleum and Logistics, in fact, came from Enacon to Eco Trading and then to your account. And that's how the bribe was channeled.
I cannot comment on where it came from, Your Worship, because I don't have access to any of those bank accounts. I just know the money wasn't paid.
It came from Enacon to Eco Trading, then to Parkwood Petroleum and Logistics, the company of the accused or the applicant.
My response is, Your Worship, that is not true. I never received money from Enacon. The money I received from Eco Trading, I cannot testify on the origin of that money, whether it was NAMCOR money or that is being alluded to or inferred to. I just know the debt was paid in terms of the services rendered, and that's it. So that is the duty of the owner of Eco Trading, which was not dealing with business with NAMCOR. And as far as I saw in the previous bail hearing in the other court, that the payment from Enacon to Eco Trading was a reference for fuel payment. And I just want to recall where Mr. Ilidi said there is also proof that they did deliver the fuel, which it will be proved at trial.
There is a property of L577 Klein Hamburg. Where is that?
It's in ours.
And that's what you paid 337,000 on 21 July.
Yes, it could be.
Okay. Where did you get that money from?
As I said, I had traded a lot of my assets as well as livestock. That's what I trade in order to procure. Because I told the court that I'm always investing. If I'm selling some of my immovable property because I'm downscaling, instead of putting that money into a bank and investing, I have always said I do go for good opportunities out there, and then I pay it and then I sell it later. I'm in the buying and selling business.
On 25 July 2022, you made a payment of 250,000 to a farm Grot Driehoek Vlakte.
That's correct.
And again, the investigating officer will come and testify that that money the 250,000 paid on 25 July was as a result of you having facilitated the asset purchase agreement, which was in any event not supposed to be signed at all.
That's not true, Your Worship. It has been testified by the investigating officer that it was a legally concluded agreement, legitimately, and the proceeds therefore is legal. And I don't know where the inference comes from, because I didn't receive money from NAMCOR.
Your Worship, I want to move to another aspect. Mr. Willemse, you had already accepted or agreed that you have a Namibian and a South African passport.
That's correct, Your Worship.
Do you have a copy of your Namibian passport with you? There, with you right now.
Let me see. It's not in my bundle.
If you do not have, I can give you a copy.
Yeah, to save time of the court, please.
Your Worship, I have the copy here. It's actually clean, it's a color copy. Just for the court to be able to follow, if there is no objection, there are just few things that I want to deal with in the passport.
You may proceed.
There's no question.
Yes, you may proceed.
Mr. Willemse, let's start with I'm just being asked if there's an extra copy. So, Mr. Willemse, let's go to page 4.
Yes.
This is for the purposes of your movement history between Namibia and South Africa.
Okay.
But I want to just the court to be able to follow. On page 4 of the passport, on 17 December 2019, you departed from Namibia to South Africa.
Yes.
And you came back on 7 January 2020. You agree? 17 December 2019, and you came back on 7 January.
It can be true, Your Worship. Because I recall.
Before you proceed, on which page? Since
Page 4, the departure is on page 4. It's a stamp that says departure via Walvis Bay Airport. And the entry back into Namibia is on page 5, which is a stamp of 7 January 2020. Your Worship, on the page 4, page 5. Is the court with me?
it's dated?
The departure is 17 December at Walvis Bay Airport.
Which
and then
year?
2019.
I think again, it
On page 4.
looks different to me. I only have 2021.
Can I?
Yeah, I think maybe just number them correctly, so at least I have an idea, because it looks like it's page 2,
Yes, it is page 2 actually, Your Worship.
not page 4.
No, it's 4.
Page 4. Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
The physical
Page
page is
4
top
of
one.
the
Yeah,
passport. Oh, page 4 of the passport.
Okay.
The passport.
Yes, oh, I see.
You may proceed.
Yes. Okay, so you left Namibia on the 17th of December 2019 and you came back on the 7th of January.
That's correct, Your Worship, if the passport reflects that.
And on the next page, which is page 6 of the passport, you departed from Namibia on 11 February 2020 and you arrived back in Namibia on 16 February 2020.
Yes.
Which page of the passport are you looking at?
Page 6. So the departure stamp will be right there where page 6 is, the number 6 is. 11 February 2020. And then the arrival will be on the right, which is the date of 16 February 2020. And then let's proceed to page 8 and 9 on the next page. It shows that you left Namibia on 21 January 2021 for South Africa via the Ariamsvlei border post, and you came back to Namibia on 24 January 2021. Those entries are all on page 8. Page 8 of the passport. And on page 9, you again left Namibia on 9 March 2021 to South Africa, and you came back on 11 March 2021. And in fact, on the same page, again, Your Worship, there is a stamp on same page, I mean page 9. You left Namibia on 7 April 2021 to South Africa again, and you came back on 12 April.
Okay.
On page 12, you left Namibia, there's a stamp of 6 August just on the bottom via Walvis Bay Airport. You left Namibia on 6 August 2021 and you came back to Namibia on 10 August 2021.
Okay.
And on page 13, just the page on top, you again departed from Namibia on 13 August 2021 to South Africa and came back the next day, the 14th of August 2021. And on page 14, you left Namibia again on 29 October 2021 to South Africa and came back on 2 November 2021.
Yes.
And on page 15, you left Namibia via the Noord-Tuve border post on 8 January 2022 and came back on 16 January 2022. On page 16, you again left Namibia on 20 March 2022 to South Africa and came back on 22 March 2022. On page 17, you left Namibia on 15 April 2022 to South Africa and came back on 20 April 2022. On page 18 and 19, it shows that on 6 June 2022, you left Namibia to South Africa, and on the same day, you proceeded to the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and you came back to Namibia on 10 June 2022. On page 20 and page 21, it shows that you left Namibia on 8 September 2022 to South Africa, Cape Town, and you came back to Namibia on 13 September 2022. On page 20 to 21, your movement was as follows. On 20 September 2022, you left Namibia to South Africa. And then on the same day, on the 20th, you arrived in South Africa and proceeded to the Kingdom of Eswatini and came back to Namibia on 23 September 2023. There was just a page that I've went back to. On page 18 to 21, in fact that is skipped. Proceed to page 2022. You left Namibia on 27 November 2022 and came back on the 1st of December 2022. On page 23, again, you left Namibia on 7 December 2022. In fact, that can also be skipped because the stamp is not very clear when you came back. But on page 26, I proceed to page 26. You left Namibia on 7 April 2023 for South Africa and came back on 10 April 2023. On page 28, you left Namibia on 22 September 2023 and came back to Namibia on 26 September 2023. Page 29, you exited Namibia on 18 October to South Africa and came back to Namibia on 22 October 2023. On page 30, you left Namibia via the Hosea Kutako International Airport on the 3rd of November 2023 and came back the next day, the 4th of November 2023. Still on page 30, you again left Namibia via the Hosea Kutako International Airport on the 7th of November 2023 and came back on 9 November 2023. On page 30 again, you left Namibia via the Hosea Kutako International Airport on 20 November 2023 and came back the next day, 21 November 2023. On page 31, you left Namibia on 9 December 2023 and came back 17 December 2023. Page 32, you departed from Namibia on 22 December 2023 and came back on 27 December 2023. You spent Christmas in South Africa. Page 33, you left Namibia on 18 January 2024 and came back 27 January 2024. Page 33 again, left Namibia on 2 February 2024 and came back on 5 February 2024. Page 33 again, you exited Namibia via the Hosea Kutako International Airport on 12 February and came back on 17 February 2024. Page 34, you exited Namibia on 14 March 2024 and came back 18 March 2024. Again, on page 34, in the month of March, 29 March, you departed from Namibia, 29 March 2024, and you came back on the 2nd of April 2024. Page 34 again, in May, 10 May 2024, you left Namibia, came back 12 May 2024. Page 34, you departed from Namibia 25 May 2024 and came back 26 May 2024. And finally, on page 35, you exited Namibia on 14 June and came back to Namibia on 16 June 2024. So, Mr. Willemse, one can see from your travel history, as I've read to you now, that you actually frequent South Africa every month, at least twice or sometimes 3 times. And if you skip a month, it's just 1 month. You agree?
I'm a frequent flyer, and I haven't denied that
Yes.
at all. Some of those trips are business trips, some of those trips are family trips. Upington one, I specifically know that it was my mother's sister that passed away, Eswatini. It was a NAMCOR trip with the Ministry of Mines and Energy. There's quite a few, and all the February trips is my birthday, 13th of February. If you can recall on the passport, you'll see my birthday. And then I also mentioned that I have a Christmas week in Sun City, so sometimes I do spend Christmas. So I do not deny, but however, what I have committed to this court, if the bail condition is for me not to travel, Your Worship, then that's the bail condition. I need to abide by it. My passport has been handed in voluntarily. So, so I'll abide by any conditions set by this honorable court.
And I just want to put it to you that one can see from your travel history, I'm in agreement, no one is prohibited from traveling, but I'm putting it to you that you are actually a flight risk. You have property in South Africa, although you have denied it. You have a passport of South Africa. I'm putting it to you that you will abscond if you are granted bail because your roots are also strong in South Africa.
That's not true, Your Worship, and that's what I've said, and I'll repeat it again. I do not own any properties in South Africa other than a timeshare, which is not a property. And that will be proven. I do frequent, because I've also mentioned to this honorable court that I have family in South Africa, my kids are there. I like flying, Your Worship, and then going out, especially when I celebrate my birthdays. I do go for weddings, I do go, and that's the only time I actually mix with distant relatives is on funerals and weddings. And there was also a few occasions where I do travel for, I always attend conferences, which I testified. Some was for NAMCOR, and some was for myself to upskill me in the oil and gas business. So it's not a secret that I've been traveling, but it's not true that I'm a flight risk, and it's not true that I've still got roots in South Africa. Other than my daughter that is there, but I want to clear my name, so I have no intention of absconding, Your Worship.
And I want to put it to you also that, in fact, it's not just you that goes to South Africa. Your money that you also get here finds its way to South Africa, and you will follow your money and you will stay there.
No, I would not. My money, as I explained to the court, I have expenses in South Africa. I have policies that is South African insurance policies, which is going to lapse soon, and I will also produce, and I just hope that the cloning of the laptop will be done so that I can get those notices why I had to open a bank account over and above the expenses I have that side. But I have settled myself here, and as Your Worship, which is evident, which is actually proving this, thank you, Mr. Prosecutor, proving that I have never spent more than a month outside consecutively, Your Worship, outside South Africa. And this also brought me to another point. I think Your Worship asked me to clarify why did I not give up my SA passport. Your Worship, if as a Namibian traveling with a passport, you are allowed 3 months a year. I forgot that. And if you exceed that 3 months, you are overstaying in South Africa, and then you are not allowed. So due to this, having a South African passport as well, it allows you to be able to spend as much time as needed. So as evident from this document by the state is I do travel and I do stay not consecutively, but more than 3 months in a year, I go to South Africa.
And in fact, Mr. Willemse, it's not just yourself, your money, even your cars are registered in South Africa. That also shows how strong your roots are with South Africa.
Your Worship, for 16 years I have had Namibian registration vehicles, and my farm vehicles is still registered in Namibia. The last 2 years I've procured vehicles due to, number one, it's cheaper in South Africa. Number two, it's also the type of cars, if I, like for instance my Jeep, it's a limited edition, Your Worship. It doesn't cost a lot as alluded, but you won't find it in Namibia. So therefore, if I decide to buy a car, it's obviously my democratic right, but to link it to running away, or I didn't even know that I'm going to be arrested, let alone trying to buy things for the sake of running away. So no, Your Worship, I'm not a flight risk once again, and I don't have roots in South Africa. My roots has been established in Namibia for the past 19 years.
And I just want to put to you that with regard to count 15 of money laundering, you first of all buying cars in South Africa, buying property in South Africa, which includes the 2 flats that you have in Cape Town and the timeshare that you have at Sun City, was you disguising the source and origin of the money that you got from the kickbacks from Erongo Petroleum. That's why you bought property there, and you bought properties in South Africa.
Your Worship, then that's a terrible disguise. Because I make money in Namibia and I pay it in my bank account in Namibia. I transfer it, leaving an electronic trail to South Africa. I procure assets which I have never even denied, and then I want to hide it from the state for purposes of money laundering. That's actually a bit weird, but no, I did not do that for that purpose, Your Worship. As I said, Your Worship, I'm investing in properties, I'm investing in livestock, I'm investing in a lot of things, cars. I sometimes buy and sell cars as well if it's a good price. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing, Your Worship, none of which is criminal, and to link it to some activity that happened in 2022 just for that time which I was limited involved. It's absolute, don't want to, but anyway, it's not true, Your Worship.
And in fact, I want to put it to you as a proposition. You can answer. From the accused persons, your core accused persons, the money trail or the paper trail is actually very clear with regard to your involvement. Firstly, I'll put it to you as follows. The acquisition of the assets of the Ministry of Defense in the amount of 53,212,000 started these whole bribes and kickbacks, as can be seen from the bank statement. And specifically for you, Mr. Willemse, it is clear from your bank accounts, they speak for themselves.
That's not true, and I'm just curious that none of the other accused, did they not get anything out of this alleged bribes? Because the state has not put, and all of them are done.
They did, you got most.
Oh, okay. Thank you. No, Your Honor, I did not. this is, I did not receive any of these bribes, and what the state has proposed is totally untrue.
And in fact, you agree with me with a document that I showed to you that appears on 379 of the second bundle, that as a result of you being a member of the credit committee, firstly, which amongst other things was approving credit to customers, you allowed the debt of Irongo Petroleum CC to go up to 266 million because you were receiving bribes. And there was no anomaly in the credit policies you are saying. You allowed it because it allowed you to get money in your account and to eat, as I said yesterday.
It's totally not true, Your Worship, and I do not want to repeat myself because I believe I've answered that question. So,
and because of your failure to provide even a folio or a page of any stock head of your animals, movement permit, invoice between you, Eco Quality Meat Supplies, that you are supplying meat to them. This is what is called a red herring. It's nothing. This is just something that you concocted. There was no transaction between you and Quality Meat Supplies. You were receiving bribes.
Your Worship, I believe I've responded to this question as well. I do not want to waste the first time by repeating myself, but once again, it's not true. And yeah, that's all I have to say on this matter.
And because this money, and by the money I'm referring to the money that NAMCOR paid towards the purchase of the 9 home-based fuel stations, and the money, the 266 million, this is public money. I'm saying to you that it will not be in the interest of the public or the administration of justice to grant you bail, because you have, for a lack of a better word, you have chopped public money for your own benefit.
Your Worship, that's not true. And I didn't commit a crime here. The fact that NAMCOR failed to recover the money due to their own decisions, due to the fact that NAMCOR, it doesn't know what to do with its assets because it's a lucrative asset to have. Because if I was at NAMCOR, I would have made money out of that assets, and at that contract, I would have recovered all the debts owed by allowing these entities to enter into a repayback plan, because it's evident in the same document that Mr. Prosecutor was referring to that there was payments done, and then there was a payment plan offered, which was rejected. So if somebody buys 250 million, north of 250 million a year, it's a good client and is paying that, and NAMCOR made money out of those business, and they came to you and asked for a repayment, and you reject them, knowingly that if you reject a reseller, his customers will stop paying him, and that will have a domino effect. But I totally disagree, and I do not think that the public interest shouldn't be confused with media interest, Your Worship. And that's all I have to say on that proposed proposition from the state.
With regard to count 14 that relates to conspiracy, we are saying yourself, Jennifer Amukwaya, Mr. Mulunga, Grace Dunaiski, and the representatives of Irongo Petroleum and Enacon conspired together. You were a syndicate of crooks who conspired together to devise a means in which you were going to steal money from the National Petroleum Corporation. So you conspired. That is the short of what I'm saying.
I never received money or conspired with anyone, and I didn't defrauded the National Petroleum Corporation because I didn't work for them. And also, Your Worship, I take exception to the word being called crooks. However, what happened to the state and what happened in the law where there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So it seems that the state has already convicted us, while the trial is not even scheduled yet. We have been arrested, and on the first day, the state, in front of your worship, on the first appearance, the state said, we are done with this investigation. In fact, we can give the phones back and the car, the bucket back and the laptops. We don't need it. That's on the record, your worship, if you can recall. Now the state has come back and said, no, we need another, we are not finished with the investigations. There's arrest coming, there's this. So your worship, I don't know who comes to this court with dirty hands. Definitely not me, but so I'm a bit confused to be called a criminal while I'm still just an accused. Nothing has been proven. I'm applying for bail, and there's no presumption of innocence.
Let me ask you, is it correct that you were admitted to hospital on the 11th of July 2025?
That's correct, Your Worship.
And was it at which hospital?
CMC Hospital.
Yes, in fact, the investigating officer will come and testify that, in fact, a plan was devised for you to escape. And I'm going to put it to you so that you know, in case you don't know. Do you disagree that there was a plan devised for you to escape?
I cannot take my blood sugar level up to 20.4. Your Worship, there was no plan to escape. It's another, one of the defense counsel was referring to the investigating officer as a storyteller. I think you just confirmed that. But no, Your Worship, there was no such plan. I was sick. There's doctor's reports that can showed how my blood sugar level was brought back to normal levels. And I was discharged the next day. There was always a police presence there. So I don't know how would I have escaped with police, in police custody, Your Worship.
Is it correct that when you left the Window Correctional Facility, you were in a correctional facility van?
I don't know in which van was I. I was sick, I was dizzy, so I just got into the van that was provided.
The investigating officer will come and testify that, in fact, on your way to the hospital, you were being followed by a GLE Mercedes-Benz of a police reservist who was to guard you at the hospital.
I'm not aware of that,
And
Worship.
that reservist is well known to one of the accused persons, and he was going to facilitate your escape from the hospital.
I don't know anything about that, Your Worship. To be honest, this is news for me. I went to the hospital, I was in police custody. I cannot recall any person following me. And why should I want to escape, Your Worship? I had ample of time to run away because we knew about these investigations coming along a long time. We knew about the criminal case that was there. So if the arrest was always imminent. So this is one of the stories that in order to justify the arrest is being narrated out there.
Is it correct that you were being guarded by a police reservist at the hospital?
I don't know his rank. He was in two police uniforms were there, and I don't know what their rank was.
The investigating officer is coming to testify that you were being guarded by a police reservist who is close to one of the accused persons, and he had to chase him from the hospital, that you have to leave the hospital. You can't be here guarding a suspect with a luxury car. This is just you trying to assist the accused to escape.
I don't know that, Your Worship. I didn't even know about all these interactions, so I cannot. And this is one of the tricks that I think the state is coming to this court, trying to mislead this court by making up fabricated stories, which I myself doesn't even know about. The doctor's reports will prove that I was sick due to the fact that I was manhandled by the same police that Mr. Prosecutor is not mentioning. The ACC deliberately refused me medicine. So that is okay. And now come up with a story that I don't know how did I get sick. Maybe I made myself sick. That is probably a story. I don't know how would I do that. But I was sick and the doctor can prove that, Your Worship.
In fact, the driver of that Mercedes-Benz is a close friend of Mr. Mulunga, in case you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. So I just want to put it to you that, you see, one of our grounds of objecting to bail is the seriousness of the charges. And I would like to inform you that due to the seriousness of these charges and the likelihood of a lengthy term of imprisonment to be imposed, it's an incentive or it will actually encourage you to escape because you do not want to go to jail because you know of the seriousness of the charges.
That's not true, Your Worship, and we will prove that this charges is not that serious. I mentioned yesterday that it's serious allegations, and this charges that is referring to needs to be proven in a competent court of law. So, with the relevant evidence, not inferences beyond a reasonable doubt. So, for the state to claim that this they will have a success in these charges is wishful thinking. As we will prove that I'm innocent, and that's what I have to say, and I will stand trial, Your Worship.
If we might just adjourn for 10 minutes.
Guys.
You may proceed.
Yes. Mr. Willemse, I just want to put it to you also that the investigating officer will come and testify that you have accepted that you are the first one to be arrested. Is it true?
Yes.
And in fact, the investigating officer will come and testify that when you were arrested, you locked yourself in the toilet and you started calling your co-accused persons. In fact, one of the persons that you had called is Victor Simaneka Malima. That's why he was able to escape, because you alerted to him.
Your Worship, I always lock myself in my room. There is no toilet door. When I go to sleep, doesn't matter where, my room, my bedroom, I lock. That's just a habit since a break-in I had a few years ago, actually many years ago. But I lock my house and I lock my door. It's a habit. And when I wake up, I go to the toilet. I got a call. I didn't alert Mr. Lima, that's incorrect. Mr. Malima actually phoned me while I handed the phone to the investigation officer. So I phoned Mr. Malunga. That's the only one I phoned, and then he responded also with things, and I didn't know I was going to be arrested other than when the police knocked, and yeah.
Okay, is it correct that you spoke to Mr. Malima while the ACC and the police were at your house?
I didn't spoke to him. The phone, at the time Mr. Malima called, the phone was in the hands of Inspector Anna. She showed everybody there. Look who's calling. That's the truth.
And is it correct that when they got to the house, you saw them and you went to lock yourself in the toilet?
That's not correct. I couldn't see them because I was in bed and I woke up. The time when they knocked at the door, I was in the bathroom.
At past 11 in the morning?
Yeah, I had a party the previous night. Not past 11, it was around 11:15. That past 11 date and time is wrong.
And I just wanted to put to you, say that since one of the grounds that we are opposing bail to is that there are other suspects to be arrested, if you are released on bail, seeing that you are already in communication with Mr. Malima, the financer, as we are saying, you are likely to interfere with the investigations, and also, yes, you are likely to interfere with the investigations.
That's not true, Your Worship. I didn't even know, or I don't even know where Mr. Malima is. Number one. Number two, like I said, they say I spoke to him. I didn't even know myself I was going to be arrested. So how could I alert anybody about that? They could have also cross-questioned Mr. Malunga. I didn't even know. I didn't even tell him that I'm being arrested or I'm going to be arrested. So that's why I'm saying this is totally unfounded. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Your Worship, before I conclude, I just want to apply that the copy of the passport of the accused, that is the Namibian passport that expires in 2029, be received as an exhibit. Our exhibits are at C, if my recollection is well.
Usually there's no objection.
The passport copy of the applicant is marked Exhibit C.
Mr. Court, please, as Your Worship, that also concludes our cross-examination.
Yes.
Excuse me, I do have re-examination questions. You might notice it's almost 4 o'clock. May I ask that we then start cross-examination, the re-examination on Monday? It's quite a few that I noted down. If there's no objection, please state.
There is none, no objection.
Okay, the matter is then adjourned to the 15th of September for continuation of the bail application. The applicant is remanded in custody.
Just again, I see it seems to be common practice at 10, or can we start at 9?
I think 10 because I still have the court roll of seat to dispose
I
of.
just- I
So
forgot.
10 a.m.
It's in order, Your Worship.
Date is in order, time is order.
We may adjourn.
Right.